Viewer discretion is advised.
It's my favorite night of the week, spaghetti squash night. And why is it my favorite? Because I get to tear into this motherfucker right here.
What are you doing?
Dude, we're rolling.
I know. I don't want to see you lose a finger or a hand.
I'm not gonna lose a finger or a hand.
Put that thing in the microwave for a couple of minutes, and it'll soften up and you'll be able to cut it more easily.
Why do you always castrate me when I'm trying to have fun?
What are you, 12?
Close to it.
Yep, that's me, at 320 pounds. Man, I was living large. Go ahead, you could say it. I was a real fat bastard. But then I got multiple sclerosis. Everything had to change. So I changed it. What else was I gonna do? I'm Rob Brazius, and this is my life.
Apparently I have poor judgment or something. I don't know what that means, but I had my heart set on coming home and cracking this thing open like someone's skull that owes you money, but Kelly won't let me, so. Anyway, she said to throw it in the microwave. I despise microwaves. They're not good for you, but in this case, in a pinch, you gotta use it. So what you wanna do is you wanna take a fork, and at least I get to stab something, and you wanna poke a few holes in it like you would a baking potato. Now, I'm not gonna do too many of them because odds are I'm probably gonna screw this up and we're gonna have to do take after take, and I don't want this thing looking like a piece of Swiss cheese. But poke a couple holes in it, and then throw it in the microwave on high for about 5 minutes or so. It's gonna make it nice and tender, and you're gonna be able to cut right through it. All right, so it's out of the microwave, now we can get going. This one took about 5 to 7 minutes, so your mileage is gonna vary depending on the power of your microwave. So what you wanna do is, it's nice and hot, so be careful. I just burnt off my fingerprints, so now I can commit a crime. What you wanna do is you wanna scrape out these seeds and like this hair. Now you don't want to take too much of the flesh off because that's your dinner. But you want to get as much of these seeds and hair out as you possibly can. Alright, so we got all the seeds out. That's the main thing. These little hairs and all that, that's actually the flesh that, I pulled off the side because I can be a little overzealous with things. But once you get the seeds out, you want to get these face down. I always put them face down or flesh down, whatever. Face down, it's like a snuff film in here. And you want to get them in the oven about 350 for about 40 minutes. Now, I don't know what you're cooking with. I don't know what your oven's like. You never had me over. You never even call anymore. You could have a big lighter and a frying pan for all I know. But anyway, if you have a nice conventional oven that's semi-new, and Fred Flintstone didn't deliver it, 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. All right, so once you get it out of the oven, what you want to do is you want to let it cool down, otherwise you're going to lose your fingerprints too. You want to take a fork, and you just want to gently scrape. I'm not really pushing, I'm just letting the fork kind of work through the flesh, and you can see, look how it's shredding and coming out like spaghetti. That's why they call it spaghetti squash. I know I'm impressing you with the obvious. So what you want to do is you just want to keep scraping. You want to be careful, you don't want to pull too hard because you're going to break the skin, but you just want to let the fork do most of the work. And we're going to do some kind of wipe thing because I don't feel like standing here anymore. Alright, so this is what you wind up with when you're done scraping. You see? Like little spaghetti in here. And I always do it inside the shell because it makes a nice little bowl or a nice little little steamboat. Anyway. Now if you remember back to the pantry episode, I talk about what my grandmother did with spaghetti squash. My grandmother used to make spaghetti squash all the time when we were kids. We were guineas, so she put tomato sauce on it, she put cheese on it, she shredded up a little bit of breadcrumb for a little bit of texture. It was awesome. So let's go ahead and make Nona proud. What I like to do is, I like to saute some water saute, no oil, some onions and some mushrooms. And I just like to kind of spoon that over the top. Here's where I make a mess and Kelly yells at me. Alright, mushrooms and onions. Next, and again, my grandmother would be spinning in her grave right now if she knew I use jar sauce, but make your sauce. Use a favorite jar sauce of yours. I usually make my own sauce, but again, kind of ran out of time, so things got away from me. Look at how beautiful that looks. So right over the top with the sauce, and then what you want to do is, I'm going to take some garlic powder. Now this is garlic powder. I usually like granulated garlic, but this is what I ordered off of Amazon, and it came because to me, garlic powder is the granulated garlic. I didn't know, so I kind of got screwed on it, but I'm not going to throw it away. That's why I'm using it. And some, Mediterranean oregano. Sounds fancy. I always do things in my hand first. That came out wrong. Some oregano over the top. What I like to do is I like to kind of squash it between my fingers because it really, even if it's dry, it still releases the oils inside. Oh God, you can smell that. Oh, it's beautiful. And then the best thing in the world, some cheese. You gotta have cheese because once it goes under the broiler, it's gonna get nice and melty. Oh God, look at that. That is amazing. And then I like to top things off with some breadcrumbs. Because underneath the broiler, I like it to get a little bit crispy. Cheese is good, it gets nice and ooey and gooey and melty. Or melted. What the hell, let's throw it all on there. And I like to add a little bit of an olive oil spray just to get it to brown. Now you want to be able to shield it a little bit because if you're too close, it's going to go all over the place. So just a little bit, it's going to brown underneath the broiler. Oh, so now we're going to do the second one and get them both in the oven. Alright, so the second one is going to be more of a Mexican theme. Like the first one was Italian because of my nonna. And this one, well, if I would have had an abuela, it would be this. And look at me, I'm bilingual. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Alright, so again, like the first one, we made a little boat out of our spaghetti squash. And what I'm going to add first is some black beans. Now you can use pinto beans, you can use red beans, you can use kidney beans, whatever you want. We like black beans, so I'm going to put some black beans on. Oh my God. Sorry, I love food. We talk about this and all this stuff we're going to do, but when it actually comes down to doing it, I'm like an excited child getting ready to go on the roller coaster. Before you vomit. Alright, again, some nice jarred salsa. You can make your own. We always make like a pico de gallo. We never usually make a salsa, but this is one of the better brands that we like. So, put some salsa on the top. Or salsa, as Kelly always corrects me on. Now I like a lot of salsa on here, or a lot of sauce, because the spaghetti squash isn't dry, but it can get stringy on you if you don't have it properly lubed. And then of course we're going to finish it off with some Mexican-inspired vegan cheese. Now again, when it comes to cheese, more is better. That is definitely not enough. Oh, much, much better. Alright, so now we're going to get this with its Italian counterpart, and we're going to get it on the broiler. Now remember, when you're broiling things, you never ever want to walk away. So get it on the broiler just until this cheese starts to melt on this one. And on the Italian-inspired one, you just want to wait till those breadcrumbs turn a little bit brown. Oh, I'm hungry and excited. Alright, so once the broiler's done its magic, I guarantee you this is going to be one of the most delicious things you're ever going to have with a vegetable. Now, with Daya cheese, it never really melts how, like, you know, traditional cheese or murder cheese that I like to call it does, but it has such a creamy texture. So you want to get in there and get, look at that, I got some mushrooms, I got some onion, I got some cheese. I love this. Seriously, that's delicious. The crunch of the breadcrumbs, the creaminess of the cheese, the sauce in there, the mushrooms, the onions. You guys are going to love this, seriously. What an amazing dish. Alright, so now, for our Mexican friends, or anyone that's a fan of Mexico and all its food, and they gave us such amazing food. So what I like to do is I like to top it with some freshly chopped cilantro. Just a little bit on the top. Not much, more like a garnish. And then your favorite hot sauce. I like different things. I don't like a lot of heat sometimes. Sometimes I go for the flavor. So, a little bit of hot sauce on top. Let's give this one a taste. Okay, so the Go Veggie cheese is much like the Daiya. It doesn't really melt like traditional murder cheese, but it does its job. So, oh, look at that. I got the black beans, I got some salsa. This bite has a little bit of everything. Oh my God. Sorry, give me a second. Wow, that is absolutely delicious. I can't believe sometimes that this is a vegetable. I used to have these things with pasta, especially the Italian one. And when I went vegan, I tried it with spaghetti squash. I didn't know if I was going to like it, because spaghetti squash has always been traditionally like a side dish. But man, it really can stand alone as the base for a great recipe. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe. Let me know in the comments below different ways that you use, excuse me, I'm still drooling, that you use spaghetti squash. And I would love to hear about how this turned out for you guys when you try it. So thanks for stopping by.